In this episode, Brent gets in my shot.
You're in my shot. This wasn't here 2 minutes ago.
But this is the best place to be, right up here.
He basically just told those people to f*** off, and they did. This is the sharpest lens I have ever used. You know you can get counselling for it.
No, we agreed we're going to go up the mountain.
You're out of order. Just forget about Cleatus, alright? Forget about it. So what am I doing here in the Canadian Rockies? Well, other than trying to get epic shots, my purpose is to film high quality content for my Composition Made Easy course, and this is for Chapter 2, Tricks of the Trade. So in Tricks of the Trade, I'm going to show you all of the tools and tricks that I use every single day in every single shot that I take to make sure that I've got a beautifully composed image with perfect subject separation, subject balance, and everything is in its perfect place. So these are the tricks and tools that you can use every single time that you go out to shoot using any camera, and you can consistently get better and better compositions with beautifully placed subjects and lovely balance in your images. So what I'm going to do with this vlog today is give you a free preview of one of the topics covered in this chapter, which will be subject balance.
But let's begin this story where it usually begins, at sunrise.
Alright, so this morning Brent is back in town. It's the second weekend here in Banff National Park, and we're close to Moraine Lake, and we've stopped on the road to Moraine Lake for a bit of lazy roadside photography, which I was super excited about because you know me, I'm lazy. And then Brent told me that once the sun has popped up and we've got this shot, we're hiking straight up this mountain for some late morning light, so I was really excited about that. So yeah, we're just being lazy. You'll see some cars passing us now. Everyone's zipping down to Moraine Lake. The forecast said fog.
No fog.
I don't see no fog.
There's a couple little clouds rolling in. So we've been to Moraine Lake, I don't know, 50 times each, like a million times.
Oh, over 100.
And it is really one of the most beautiful places on the planet, but everyone who's got a surfboard. Moraine Lake is the obvious shot and everyone goes there. It's stunningly beautiful, but how many shots do you think you have of Moraine Lake?
Well, last night was my 103rd visit.
Probably.
And it was the second best shot I've ever got.
There you go. There you go.
You've only got to go 103 times to get two good shots.
But every time we drive past this mountain, this view, you just like, your mind expands and blows up. But you still want to go to Moraine Lake because that's the way to go. But this has been in our back pocket for a long time. We've wanted to stop in just this one spot and not be tempted to just keep going that last kilometer.
I've never done this before. I've never stopped.
I've done this only during the day on the way out, thinking one day I would stop and actually do it. And today's the day we're stopping. And there's a few little clouds rolling in. Alpenglow is in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I think we'll get some.
We'll definitely get some glow on the peak, but the clouds are an absolute shambles. There's nothing. But what we might get is, I think there's been a fire, because over in that valley there, I'll turn the camera around and take a shot. Over in that valley, there's all this smoke. So that means there'll still be, even though it doesn't look that smoky, there will be smoke over here in this valley. And when the sun hits that with a completely clear path, because there's no clouds obstructing it, there's a chance we'll get like a big ray of light as it hits that smoke, so that might be good.
I hope that is. Your hair looks amazing, by the way.
It's a bit high, isn't it?
Give it a shake, hey?
Woohoo!
Yeah, okay.
Some high hair. I'm dizzy now.
Oh shit.
Have we got time to make a coffee? Because I haven't had a coffee yet.
We definitely should make a coffee.
Let's make a coffee.
Yeah, we got about 10 minutes, hey?
Should we get the jet boil out?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Roadside coffee. We will get round to doing some actual photography, but first, you know, we need coffee.
Yeah.
And
so you brought the good stuff, right?
Yeah, I brought the good stuff, but you'll have to grind it. So that's you just do that.
How long does that take?
Oh, 20 minutes.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And this is the good stuff. So this is my favourite coffee. This is Kicking Horse Pacific Pipeline. I don't get paid anything to blab about this. Trust me, I've tried. They told me to f*** off.
Is there anything in there? This is the trade, isn't it? Takes ages, but freshly ground coffee out in the woods.
And I think it tastes better when it's ground by hand and
by somebody else.
Yeah, not by a machine, right? It's hand ground. You see, everything's better when it's hand.
Hand ground with love.
Yeah.
Jeez, this does take a long time, doesn't it?
You're almost there?
Almost there, actually.
You know that you're going to need to go after this coffee. You'll need to make a deposit.
Yeah, but I have some mountain money. Do you have any?
Oh, I do. I've even got a toilet in my camper, but I just wanted to make it clear that it's like only for the owner.
Oh,
there's no guests allowed in the
just
toilet.
being clear.
I just want to make that clear.
Okay.
Like if you.
Yeah, but real men go in the woods. You don't need a fancy camper like that.
Well, I'm clearly not a real man then.
This is like Ritz-Carlton's in the woods.
Yeah.
Okay, that's done.
that was quite fruity. Right, so you just wang it in there.
Wang it in from the bottom. I'm gonna get it all over the bloody place here. Like all of it?
There you go. Yeah. So that is 1 cup.
What?
Yeah. Well, you want it strong, don't you?
I have to do it again.
Yeah, you'll have to do it again. That's but we'll do it because you're on grinding duty. We'll let you have the first cup. So.
Oh, well, that's nice of you.
Where's your cup?
Thank you. Oh, look at that.
Morning coffee.
Oh, I found it.
In front of an epic view.
Oh.
You're in my shot. This wasn't here 2 minutes ago.
But this is the best place to be, right up here.
Yeah, but you're in my shot, so.
Well, if you're welcome to come up, but you have to share your toilet with me.
Well, that's only for owners, though.
No, but this spot is just for owners.
I see. I see how it is. Well, the light is just about to kick off. It's hitting these clouds, but it hasn't quite hit the peak yet. So we're getting some nice frames while that lovely light is happening. I'll show you the composition that I've got. So you can see the peak right there, slap bang in the center of the frame. And I don't care at all about any of this rubbish, the road, this slope. That's all going to get cropped out, probably to about there. And all I'll have is the top, I would say 2/3 of the image. I'll probably crop it to a 4:2. I actually would probably crop this even tighter just to get rid of this area here, but I've composed it a little bit wider now because of these lovely clouds. I'll show you those there. Look at that. Absolutely glorious. It's a very simple, very obvious composition, but it just works. So what we're hoping is that this peak, let's touch that, this peak just catches that morning glow, and then the composition might change. Then I'll probably get in a lot tighter. I might even put the telephoto on and maybe just compose it to be kind of like this. Actually, I think the 55mm is probably going to be the perfect shot. So we'll see how this composition evolves. This is just the starting point, but look at those clouds.
Chance you could pass that liquid elixir up there.
Oh, your coffee, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I could, but I'd have to come up there.
Oh, you're holding it ransom.
Yeah.
Well,
could I join you up there? Because it does look like that might be where the best light is.
There's a little room for you right there, just on the very
All right, well, there's your coffee.
Oh.
Oh, look, we're getting a little bit of glow on the peaks now.
Oh my God.
Time to get serious. How's it going up there?
It's going awesome. Look at that light, man. It's starting. We got really lucky this morning.
Well, I've changed my composition ever so slightly. Just look at that glow that we've got going on there.
Oh, man.
So let me just show you the back of the camera right now. So look at this shot here. Beautiful glow on the peaks. We've got some pink clouds up in the sky. I'll just keep shooting the shot. So what I've focused on is I've focused on the mountains, just a mountain ridge over there, because like I say, there's really no foreground. It's going to be cropped really, really tight like that. It might even be a 6:2. And what I'm making sure of is that I do the wave of hatred. And as you've probably seen in previous videos, the wave of hatred is I hit the shutter, do that, and then the mosquitoes get enough time to be off out of my shot, and now I've got a clean image. Because I tell you what, if you don't do the wave of hatred, you will find 12 mosquitoes just on this ridge line, and you won't be able to clone them out. Oh, that glow is absolutely gorgeous. So f10, super sharp on this lens. ISO, I'll put my ISO back up to ISO 100 because apparently that is better dynamic range, and just take the shot at the recommended exposure. Very, very, very simple. Now, if I polarize this, let me just turn the polarizer. Look at what that does to the clouds there, but it might look a little bit unnatural because I have this dark blob on that side, but not on the right side. So yeah, I may or may not polarize this. Oh, pink juiciness.
In the end, I decided to go for a 16:9 crop, and even with that smoke in the air, we still got that gorgeous glow on the peaks. Definitely well worth getting out of bed at stupid o'clock.
Well, it's 5:30 a.m. I've had 4 hours of sleep. I'm quite badly sunburned, and I do have a face like a very low-rent oven-baked pizza, perhaps a Chicago town, or at worst, a McCain's. But I'm quite happy because look at this business. So I don't know if it translates on this camera, I don't know if you can actually see it, but the light is very soft, very pastel. I know Thomas Heaton would love this kind of light. And that is because of the smoke. Even though it doesn't look smoky, there is a little bit of smoke in the air. Let me show you where it's coming from. Look at that. Just in that valley, that is not a cloud, that is not fog. And you can tell because it's really blue in colour. So when it has that blue colour, that is smoke. And I think it's coming from the south, which that could be a problem for the next couple of days. That could be a bit of an issue. But the forecast says that it might rain today. Apparently it's going to rain here, but we'll see about that. It said it was going to be fogging. Ain't no fog. So me and Brent were just having a little bit of a conflab about what this video could be all about. And I think we've already explained it in that opening scene, and that is that sometimes your plan B location turns out to be better than your plan A location, which, I mean, we don't know. It might be absolutely spectacular down at the lake, but we've both got maybe even thousands of shots of Moraine Lake. This is the first time I've ever stopped here, and I remember the very first time I drove through, I was thinking, oh, I should stop and take that shot, and I didn't. Well, today I've done it, and I'm pretty glad I've done it, mate. What about you?
This is amazing. I'm really happy we didn't go up to the lake actually today.
Are you shooting a pano, Brent?
You got me.
He's not well.
It's better up there.
He basically just told those people to f off. And they did. It must have been your steely glare that did it.
So this is Brent's panorama, and I really do hope that you're watching this video on something other than a phone screen, just to do it justice. Now, if you want to know more about how Brent shoots his panos, be sure to like and subscribe, because we've got some great pano tips coming up in some future episodes really soon. Oh, and don't forget to tickle my bell.
What time is it, Brent?
Pano time. Or pastel o'clock. Look at these mountains. Holy crap.
Okay, so I've now strapped on my most precious, and that is the 55mm Sony / Zeiss f1.8 piss off fly. And this is the sharpest lens I have ever used. I don't get to use it very often, but when I do, oh, the sharpness is juice factor 11. So now my composition is way tighter, it's completely different. So let me show you from the back of the camera. So look at that, it's pretty much all about this peak and the light on that peak. I'll just open up the aperture a little bit so you can see the foreground here. In the composition, I've just got this little tree line here, and then you're straight into the valley and the mountain, and of course those gorgeous clouds. So as the sun pops up and hits, let's say, these trees here, I might move back a little bit to feature more of that, and it's just starting to pop up over the horizon now. Look at this business. So that now should really start to create a bit more relief and a bit more contrast in this scene. What I'm going to do is actually stop down to f11, because that's very sharp on this lens. And again, I'm just focusing on the mountain there. Now this lens does have crazy bokeh. It's kind of known for how much blur you can get on certain subjects. So there is a chance, let's just overexpose this, there is a chance I might have to even focus stack this tree line. But f11 should be okay. Maybe I'll have to stop down to like f16 or something like that, but we'll see. I'll check the playback. And that's pretty much the best tip I can give you, which I know I've given you many times before, is whenever you're not sure about focus, just check that playback. So let me just hit
this and then just zoom in and then just check to see if everything's sharp. Oh, and it turns out f14, or was it f16? Yeah, that's actually perfectly sharp. Okay, I'm going to stop waffling and now take this shot in earnest because the light is fantastique. Now that the sun is up, these trees in the foreground are lighting up beautifully. I really like that feature. And what I'm looking at now is I've got these trees and then I've got this big gap in the valley where there's really nothing going on before you see the mountain. So I think what I'd like to do is get lower so that those trees move up and fill that void a little bit. It'll be a cleaner composition. So I'm actually going to get down this slope a little bit. Will that ruin your shot, Brent?
Oh, you're right. Thank you.
Is that because you're shooting a pano? You know you can get counselling for it. Oh, that sun is bright. Yeah, so that's fixed the problem perfectly. I moved, I don't know, 30 feet down the slope, and that's pushed the tree line up to just fill that void perfectly. Now I feel like I've got a beautiful balance of elements. It's almost like a 3-layer system. So I'll just show you the back of camera and explain what I'm talking about. Okay, so now what you have is by getting lower, these trees have been pushed up to fill that void. And it's almost like a 3-layer composition. So the first layer is the tree line, which is catching that light beautifully right now. And beyond that, you have this valley, this ridge, and then beyond that, you've got the mountain. So so that's overexposed so that you can see this. So now if I just stop down a little bit, there you can see the mountain and the clouds. I'll just go and take the shot at f14, just so that everything's in focus. And I'll just overexpose that for the foreground a little bit. Beautiful. So to me, that's a bit more balanced, and that's something that I'm always looking for, is balance in my compositions. I don't want one subject to be completely overweighted so that other supporting elements just disappear. And conversely, I don't want my supporting elements to be taking too much of the frame. In this case, that mountain is by far the most important element, but I really do love that tree line now that the light is hitting it. It wasn't as important earlier when there was no light, but now that the light's up, it changes everything. And that's something that you've always got to be ready to do, is adapt your compositions. Whoa! Adapt your compositions based on what the light does and how it changes the view in front of you. Don't be too married to one composition, because if you do that, you might miss out on better images. You know, you might be able to get 3 shots out of one visit instead of just one shot. Absolutely majestique. I was so glad that we decided to stop and take this roadside shot, because I can guarantee that 300 photographers were all jostling for place on the Rockpile at Moraine Lake, but in this spot, it was just us two. And oh, what's that? Brent stealing my composition? That wouldn't be the only thing he'd try and steal on this trip.
Right, I think the best of the light is done. I did get quite a tremendous shot. You probably got quite a mediocre pano, I'm thinking. Oh no, it probably got a lot better once you copied my composition.
No, I was up on the truck. You should have come up there with me.
Well, I tried, you know.
Yeah, it's a bit tight up there.
It was a bit tight.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're done. So let's go back and have a nap, eh?
No, we agreed we're going to go up the mountain. That was what we were going to do from the beginning. You convinced me to stop here. And the deal was we were going to go up top.
Well, we don't need to now. We've got the shot. We're done. It's nap time.
It's going to get even better. You know what? If you bring Cleatus to keep you company, it'll be okay.
I don't understand this obsession with Cleatus, right? He's my dog. Just forget about it. You know, get your own dog.
You know what? You don't really treat. Maybe I should take Cleatus off your hands.
Brent, what do you think you're doing with Cleatus there? No.
I just thought I'd bring Cleatus.
No, I'll take Cleatus. Thank you very much.
Cleatus is a bit mistreated. I know. You're my friend. I'm sorry to hurt your feelings, but Cleatus deserves more than you're giving him.
You're out of order. You're out of order. Right?
But if Cleatus comes up there with us,
he's not coming. No, he's staying in the camper. Just forget about Cleatus, all right? Forget about it.
All right. Well, if you insist, we'll go up. But I don't see a trail.
There's never a trail for the best spots, but we're just gonna go up this way.
There's no trail though, so
yeah, just follow me. Hey, there's a trail, see? Some goats went up here before.
God. Are we nearly there yet?
We're almost there. You sound like an asthmatic donkey.
If I got that fit, I'd be happy.
Brent's not even breathing heavy.
I'm never sure if that sound is going to attract the bears or scare them away. They're like, delicious, a dying moose. Let's get it. Or maybe it sounds like a big like forest monster, so like a Yorkshire grizzly.
It's a Yorkshire grizzly.
Yeah.
I don't think Canadian grizzlies like those.
They'll probably not. They taste a little like
Tangy.
Exactly.
Sour and salty. Oh, I was having a nice break there. Okay, I guess we're going back up. That's bollocks.
Strawberries. See if I can find another one.
So that's a wild mountain strawberry.
Yeah, and they're so small, but they have the flavor of a huge strawberry condensed into a little one.
So we're basically eating wild strawberries, which is bear food.
It is?
So we're in a bear buffet.
Oh, they're so good though.
Oh, that is quite good.
Bears won't like those.
God, the mosquito chaser wasn't very nice.
They're starting to ripen. I got another week or so.
Go on then, you can have one of them.
Really?
Yeah, I'll let you have one of those.
I'll take the rotten one. You
picked.
can have the other one. We're gonna find lots more. That's great. Oh, there's another one.
Oh, they are good. Juicy.
Oh man.
Oh, look at this. Strawberries under a mountain. That's living. Oh, sour, but they're so sweet. Nice.
Brent climbed that hill as if he'd caught a whiff of fresh doner kebab.
Are we nearly there yet?
We're almost there.
Half?
About 10%. No, we're just these cliffs up there. Maybe 8 or 9 minutes. Nah, probably more.
But look at this view.
Now, I do apologise for all the bleeped expletives. It must have been the altitude.
Well, we're almost to the viewpoint. Feels like we've been going about an hour and it's a slog. Now we've reached a point where it's just cliffs, so we'd have to climb if we want to go further. So Brent's just gone round the corner to see if it's doable for me, because I'm a bit of a fat kid. But look at that smoke. Now that we've got above the smoke, it seems much thicker, and I'm sure it actually is thicker. It's so sad, these wildfires that we get, and we've had 10 days of scorching hot weather, and so of course you're going to get these wildfires. It's such a shame, but let me show you the view. Look at this business.
With every metre of elevation gain, this was becoming a landscape photography paradise.
This is it. The spot.
How do I get up there then?
You're gonna have to go around all these boulders, around the tree, up this chute, say a prayer, and then climb up the rocks.
No, that doesn't look sketchy at all. I'm going to try and look heroic now. Well, according to Brent, we finally made it to his viewpoint. And I'll be honest, it's foreground galore. I mean, there's the peak, there's the lake, but just look at all this material that I've got to work with. We've got trees, we've got rocky bluffs, cliff edges. And all of these rocks, pretty much every single one of them, is covered in this lichen, this very beautiful patterned lichen that's either green or bright orange. So I'll try and feature some of that in the foreground if I can, but just look at this view. What do you think, Brent?
Doesn't get much better than this, does it?
Well,
A tuna, hummus and cucumber sandwich. Quite delicious. And I'd just like to point out that earlier on, that stain that you saw on my blue jacket, it wasn't snot, it was hummus. Because that makes it all okay. Anyway, I'm going to finish this sarnie, and I'm a bit exposed here. Didn't wear any sunscreen, so I think after this it's time to find a bit of shade and just sit and wait and see if we get any cloudage.
it was getting hotter by the minute, and even though we'd loaded up on electrolytes, the heat was really taking its toll.
So Brent's found a lovely shady spot. It makes such a difference. It's the difference between unbearable and quite comfortable.
And of course, neither of us brought sunscreen, did we?
No, that would be too organised.
We have this tiny bit of bug spray though.
I fear that there is not a single cloud now, so I fear that this was all a waste of effort. Kind of like the other day when we did almost this exact same thing when you tried to steal Cleatus from me.
That chubby Yorkshireman with the oversaturated photos can't hurt you anymore.
I tried to rescue or liberate. Liberate's probably a better word.
Emancipate. Probably a good word. But as that sun creeps round over there so that it's almost directly above the lake, what we might find is that because it's getting smokier and smokier, what we might find is that the sun creates a ray of light through that smoke as it blasts into the valley, which is, you know, it might look good, but it's still quite depressing. I really hope we get some rain in the next couple of days, because if it's like this, I'm leaving. I'm leaving the Rockies.
I know you lived here for a year, but you're finally walking more than 30 seconds away from the road. So
It's weird, isn't it?
there's a lot. You're like, there's nothing more to see. I've seen everything in the Rockies.
It's weird, like,
Anything more than 30 to 60 seconds from the road, you've already seen it.
now that I'm even fatter than I was when I lived here, I'm prepared to hike more.
You're actually in better shape. You don't seem, and mentally you seem okay with it this time around.
Yeah, I think it's because I've accepted that I need exercise badly.
It's like a double whammy there. You get some shots and you get some exercise.
Well, I'm not getting to the gym, am I? So I might as well hike.
Yeah. What about the kickboxing?
Well, it's closed, isn't it?
Oh, because of Corona. Shit.
Yeah.
Well, you just climb up a mountain 3 times a day with me, and you're okay.
Fun times. I'm not even going to get my camera out to take a shot because it's just the light's too harsh. There's no clouds. But it's been good just to get up here and finally scope this place out. I think it's a little bit prettier than the one that Brent showed us the other day, just because it's got a bit more foreground. And I really love those cliffs there. Hopefully you can see those behind that tree. I love the colours and the texture. So to me, there's a lot more to work with at this spot. It's just, you've got to pay to play. It's, you know, it doesn't come easy, but if it did, then there'd be 1,000 other shots. I've just got to make sure that I've got the best shot, better than Brent's.
Don't forget I showed you this place too.
Better than Brent's. Honestly, Brent, this has got to be, if not the best, it is one of the top 3 best views I have ever seen.
Better than the other one we did the other day.
I would say it's better than that.
Okay. Even though it's further away.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why is it better?
I think there's just more foreground. There's just more to work with. But
that's true.
I'm not going to take a shot today.
Yeah.
And
You're just banking it up here.
yeah, because blue skies, smoke, it just doesn't inspire me, even though the view is spectacular. But now that I know how awful it is to get up here, I am willing to do it again.
Are you?
Well, if we get clouds,
Yeah.
I'll come back up here today.
Do you think this is a better morning shot or afternoon shot?
I think it's equally brilliant.
So we're going up here 6 times over the next 3 days.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. So
We keep thinking that it's like, oh, we're going to go up and spend the whole day. After an hour, like, well, let's go back down.
after an hour of mosquito buffet and blood donations, no, let's just go.
All right, but we are going to come back up at some point.
Yeah, and I'm going to load up on Benadryl because these, they're getting me. But
Yeah. Too much Yorkshire pudding, that's why.
what are you talking about?
No, it makes your blood sweet, I think, yeah.
You know, I think it's important to show the failures because that's, people say, you know, it's good to see the failures. You're only human. You fail. I probably fail more often than most people watching these videos because I'm out more often.
I think that people, because I'm one of your viewers, actually.
Oh, yeah. Have you subscribed yet?
I've been thinking about it.
Unbelievable.
Jessica, I was like your first subscriber, anyways. You know, a lot of non-photographers hike to a beautiful location like this just to look at the view.
Why?
Because look at that.
What's the point of burning 4,000 calories, suffering mosquitoes, sunburn, and asphyxiation for no pictures? Why?
What's the point?
What's the point?
Your fly was open. I wasn't looking at your stomach.
Are you referencing my tete? My fethes?
So those are your pectorals.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, let's get down this bloody hill.
All right.
I want a nap.
Yeah, it's a bit of a go, isn't it?
At 34 Celsius, that midday sun had become unbearable, so it was time to head back to the camper where Amanda was cooking up a storm.
What's cooking? Good looking.
Some chicken, and we're gonna have some salad. It was kind of hot to be doing this.
It's 38 degrees in here. It's unbearable.
After a spicy lunch and a nap that didn't last long enough, Brent was knocking on my door to drag me back up that mountain for round 2, but I just wasn't up for it.
The trail's right here.
Yeah, there's no trail, Brent. There's no trail.
You don't recognize that rock from this morning.
Let's just go. Well, second time up today, I can honestly say this is actually a little bit less miserable than this morning, because at least we're in shade now, but my thighs are feeling it. The phasma is kicking in. So Brent reckons we're about a fifth of the way up, so we stopped for a breather, which I do quite regularly, and I found this, and Brent seems to think that this is the remnants of an avalanche bomb, something that they use to deliberately trigger an avalanche so that you've got some control over when and how it happens. But look at this, man, it's pretty cool.
It is cool, eh?
So we're almost up to the same viewpoint we were at this morning, but the lake is glowing, so I think we're gonna get a pretty epic shot. And look at those clouds. If they stick around and catch that evening light, juice factor 11.
And already the light was much more promising than during our mid-morning visit. But would those clouds stick around?
So after this time, a faster hike, we did it in 50 minutes. We're back at this absolutely tremendous viewpoint, and the light is glorious. We're getting beautiful warm side light on the peaks. The lake is glowing. It looks pretty calm, so we might even get some reflection. And if these clouds light up, oh man, this is going to be absolutely fantastic. So it's time to go on the hunt for some foreground and find my composition.
So what am I doing here in the Canadian Rockies? Well, other than trying to get epic shots, my purpose is to film high quality content for my composition made easy course, and this is for chapter 2, Tricks of the Trade. So in Tricks of the Trade, I'm going to show you all of the tools and tricks that I use every single day in every single shot that I take to make sure that I've got a beautifully composed image with perfect subject separation, subject balance, and everything is in its perfect place. So these are the tricks and tools that you can use every single time that you go out to shoot using any camera, and you can consistently get better and better compositions with beautifully placed subjects and lovely balance in your images. So what I'm going to do with this vlog today is give you a free preview of one of the topics covered in this chapter, which will be subject balance. So I'm going to get busy, work this scene, find a composition that gives you a really good example of how to balance the really important elements of your composition.
So what I love about this composition are all of these lovely elements. Obviously you have these spectacular peaks, you've got this lovely glowing lake, I love this valley that's coming in from the left, I love the creek that's running off of the lake there all the way through that valley, and look at all these foreground elements. And there's Brent. I actually kind of like Brent positioned over there. The only thing is it's not perfectly balanced, and to me the reason why it's not balanced is because it's quite a busy shot and there's a lot of empty space going on over here. So the first thing that I want to do is fill that space by moving over to my right, and I think what would really help is if I just moved over to the right a little bit and got Brent to move from there to this nub here. So he filled this space. So would you be able to do that for me, Brent?
Yeah, sure, man.
Okay, so now you should be able to see a drastic difference. So now I've got Brent standing on this nub and I've moved just over to the right ever so slightly. It's almost the exact same composition. I've just balanced out the elements by moving Brent from over there to over here, and I think that's far more interesting. Now I would probably play around with Brent's position a little bit, maybe get him to stand there so that his head doesn't intersect this creek here, but other than that I feel like that's a much more balanced composition. So now let me move on to a second example of subject balance, and we'll see if we can refine this and get a little bit of a better result while still capturing this good light. Okay, so with this composition it's pretty much the same concept. None of the elements have changed. I've just moved the camera so that I've positioned them in a slightly more pleasing way. So what I've got here, I've got Brent now in the center of the frame. So he's no longer off to the side causing problems with this creek here.
it fills quite a boring void in the composition. But if you look at everything else in the composition, you've got this beautiful rock formation up here, and of course the epic mountains and the clouds. And of course, if you remember, there was a very complicated looking log over to the right, which I've completely removed from the frame by zooming in. So by zooming in, I've balanced my elements out. The really important thing about subject balance is how much space they take up in your frame. So if you look at this composition, you'll see that the mountains take up, I would say, at least 50% of the frame. And then Brent, with the rock formations underneath, that kind of takes up almost the lower 50%. And so you've got that balance of subjects. Now, the mountains are more important than Brent. No offense, Brent. But, you know, that's what I'm here to shoot. I'm here to shoot those mountains. Brent is a supporting element. So, of course, his area of the composition is slightly smaller than the more important element, which is the mountains. And I feel like that is not only a visually pleasing balance of subjects, but it also tells the story perfectly. You've got this photographer out in the environment with these spectacular giant mountains just looming over him. Yeah, it's kind of a humbling experience to place a person in this kind of shot. I don't usually do these environmental portraits, but I think for the purposes of demonstrating subject balance in a scene like this, works out perfectly. Good job, Brent.
You know, subject balance is, for me, one of the more enjoyable aspects of composition. So I really encourage you to go out and play around with these concepts so that you can tell your story. And most of all, don't forget to have fun. So right now you can get Chapter 2 Tricks of the Trade and Chapter 1 Finding the Shot on sale. There's a link in the description below.
Well, that was absolutely brilliant.
Oh, it was.
Thanks again for dragging my ass up here 3 times.
Thanks for coming up again.
Did you get a good shot?
I'm very positive I got a good shot. How about you?
Was it a pano?
It was a panel.
It was a shocker.
Yeah.
No, I got a tremendous shot, but
Yeah.
3 times, I would like to get down now.
Yeah.
Hey, it was pretty cool that I found that avalanche grenade.
It was pretty cool. Hopefully we don't find an unexploded one on the way down.